Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final 25 hours of the monthly THORNEWS, Save THORNEWS fundraiser for August One Crazy Summer 2018. And yeah, so I'm going to put out this weather video, and since I'm so burned out on weather, after that, I'm just going to rapid fire off one-takers about space. So in the comments, be sure and leave any space stories you might be interested in hearing about. We got about $200 to go with 25 hours left, which sounds doable. But I don't know, my business model might be really shitty. But I have to confess, business has never been my thing, and technically, I don't even like money. I think it creates false kings, and it distorts human relations, and it allows horrible leaders to be in place forever. Okay. So, yeah, it is still super raining on the East Coast because we are getting a large plume of moisture that continually feeds out of the Gulf of Mexico up the East Coast, since we have this giant Azores high pressure system that won't allow any moisture to go any farther east. But the good news is the rain should start to lessen tomorrow, hopefully. Who knows? These model projections have been changing daily, sometimes hourly. But it looks like there's going to be more rain, flooding problems for the East Coast. So if big challenges are what you love, then good news, they're on the way. Now let's take a look at one of the most fascinating stories going on. As the Atlantic has been super quiet due to all the dust that continues to fly off of Africa. Remember, Earth's having a big dust situation. Ooh, look at the bow shock on that one. Earth's having a big dust situation. Mars having a big dust situation. Earth's got volcanoes popping off. Jupiter's moon Io has volcanoes popping off. So it's crazy around the solar system. So that's why the Atlantic has been so quiet. But August and September are the biggest months for activity. So we will keep our eyes out. But the Pacific is active. Like here we got a Fujiwara. But more importantly, the GFS shows a hurricane hitting Hawaii. And if you remember, a month or so ago, I said, ladies and gentlemen, if we see a hurricane hit Hawaii, I will take that as a sign that another big eruption or earthquake is coming. But, you know, science would like to, I'm being reminded again that science doesn't think volcanoes affect the atmosphere, the heat, anything. Like someone pointed out, no matter how many volcano eruptions you have, it's still less than 1% of all the effect that humans have on the weather and climate. Like, yeah, whatever. That's why, I don't know, I feel like I'm banging my head against a wall the whole time, trying to, like, unite people, get them prepared for these earth weather changes. It's like, literally, I got science arguing against me. And as a lot of the meteorologists would point out, most of the climate scientists, guys, couldn't make a single weather forecast to save their lives. They all have to project 100 years from now. And, you know, that's fantastic. So, yeah, Hawaii, you need to be watching this. Whatever's going on in the top is crazy. But the Pacific is shooting out activity. And just look at that. As Ryan Maue says, this is one of the wildest GFS model runs I've seen in the tropics. Only for entertainment value, what could Mother Nature do? The two hurricanes merging is insane. Yeah, but not unprecedented. So, yeah, it's an insane world, man. And so I'm not surprised the more that I try to bring you guys the truth, the harder it is for me to sustain doing it. I mean, I've been having people tell me for months that if I continue to try and bring you guys the truth, I'll end up homeless and or dead. And I'm like, yay. Well, if I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out a hero. So yes, we are still burning across the West and up through the middle of America. The only place that is cool is the place that is getting rain. And I keep thinking there is a small possibility a volcano will erupt up the Ring of Fire. Because remember, this is the Ring of Fire. And a volcano erupted in California in 1915, which is less than 100 years ago. So it doesn't sound that crazy to me. But what is concerning, and remember we had a volcanic eruption 2 or 3 days ago in Mexico, which is about right here. You got Guatemala, which a month ago had a volcano eruption about here, and now we have a ton of moisture pouring out of the Gulf up the East Coast. So it is best to be totally, absolutely as prepared as possible. Have a plan for you and your family. And if anything, that's all I've ever stressed is that, like, A, we got to work together. B, our shit show infrastructure from the 1940s really ain't cutting it, and we got to work together. But that's not happening. I'm going to cheer up, I promise, eventually some way. Where am I at? I'm looking for something very important. Where did it go? Where did it go? All right. And also, with Mars having been so close and us being in eclipse season and the energy just seems so weird, man, it seems like everybody's in a super bad mood or angry or looking for someone to punch or hurt. And it's like, that ain't me, G. I usually hurt myself before I hurt other people. That's just how it goes. All right, so here's our mega flood zone. It has moved up. And you got to watch out for the rain bands, because some of these cells are dropping some heavy rain. There was one area, I forget, that got, I think, 9 inches in 24 hours. And that's a lot of rain in a small period of time. And so, yeah, this is going to continue. And when we look at the models, you know, like this is, okay, look. We are at, it starts off today. So as you can see, there's a bunch of rain. And then Friday, still a bunch of rain up the coast. Still more rain. Still more rain, more rain, more rain, more rain. Only a little bit of rain on Saturday. And then kind of kicks back up again. Oh, you get a dry day on Sunday, at least part of it, supposedly. Remember, these models change rapidly these days. And so we're looking for Sunday. So it's Thursday, so we at least got a couple more days, then we'll double check back in on the forecast then. Sound good? But yeah, look at those 2 hurricanes, man. Those are crazy. These are crazy days indeed. Seems like a good time for everybody to chill out, work together. But what do I know? All right. So you got the giant stream up there, which we've been talking about to death now. But if you just watch on this loop, we got waves rolling off of Africa. One of the things I learned at THORNEWS through a NASA video was that they were talking about aerosols, and that when a raindrop forms, it has to actually form on something. It doesn't just form. And so the more dust on the planet, the more rain you get. So with Africa pumping out all this Saharan dust, the good news is that reduces our chance of major hurricanes. The bad news is it's going to increase the amount of rainfall we see. And rain kills more people than hurricane wind. So, and this is the next 48 hours, so it still shows a lot of wetness. Only this shows the secondary front coming quick behind the next one. Now we're watching our precipitable water loop just because it's so sexy. Yeah. And I'm watching this clump right here. Ooh, and now it's got an anomaly next to it. That makes it even more fascinating. Look at that thing, dude. I think A, it's giant. I don't remember seeing one this big come off in a giant lump. And then B, they hit it with an anomaly. And there's more anomalies down there. So, I mean, it's 2018. Like, if you're not aware and awake now, I don't know what to say. But yeah, look at these patterns, man. They're crazy. And there's so much moisture going on in the equatorial electric jet line. Yeah, once again, we've seen the dust. How's the lightning doing? You must be asking that. Well, I'm going to show you. We're at 31,000 strikes, so the storms are increasing in severity at the moment. And I thought this was interesting, the fact that there's all that lightning going on in the west, even though it doesn't appear that there's much rain activity. But once again, here's something that I noted before I find fascinating. But if you almost look at, it's almost like this is steam heat rising from all the heat in the mountains. So this is where all your lightning is, but notice that you have all the heat over here, and then it's almost like steam heat, you know, like in a sauna. Or maybe that's not a good analogy. I don't know. And where are we at? Okay. Let's go over to our main man. I always highly recommend, if you have anything going on in your area, the number one go-to guy for me is crankywxguy at crankywxguy on Twitter, or I'll leave a link to his blog. He does a blog every day where he breaks down almost everything. He's a genius, sometimes too smart, but learning is fun. Another installment of Deep Tropical Pipeline Tandem, fed by a deep digging trough and strong Atlantic high, comes to a close over the next 48 hours. We'll track along, then address the next pattern at length. So yeah, we've only got about 48 more hours of this. But during that time, it's probably going to cause some problems as the next trough kicks it out. So our rainfall estimates. Heavy flooding training cells in North Carolina. Sorry, Ryan. Buckle in and find higher ground, buddy. A few heavier training pockets to the north. Hey, Steven Svicini, if you're listening, stay cool. Thresholds are very low in the mid-Atlantic. Doesn't take much. Watch for supersaturated trees to fall in modest winds. Remember, they've been getting a whole lot of rain for like a couple weeks now. So we got a lot of warnings issued, especially flood in quite a handful of strong cells with threshold severe. Particularly nasty down by our final disturbance with its strong vorticity around Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. So, fairly frequently tornado-warned weather. Northeast Georgia, southwest South Carolina. And he just put this out 15 minutes ago. So, yep, for the next 48 hours, if you guys are up and down the line, I would definitely keep aware and awake, and have some type of warning system. And remember, you got to take care of your pets too. Hasn't been overly impressive, but we have seen active severe weather in the pipeline. And it's a long game. Like, it's been just one storm after another everywhere. It's like, is there a place in the United States that isn't facing some type of problems? Just ask converging pipeline of distance boundaries and moisture between the main trough and the Atlantic high. Our final disturbance wrapping up and supporting heavy enhanced rainfall with severe weather across the south. So, I'll leave you guys a link to Cranky's blog. Once again, that hot spot. I don't know, it's interesting. But nothing is as interesting as the Pacific situation right now. So we will keep watching. Like I said, we got 25 hours left. Save THORNEWS for the next month. Do absolutely my best to bring you guys the information that I think is important. Definitely been trying to unite you guys, but that sure as hell don't seem to be working. I wish I didn't have to do this, and I might try and figure out something else down the line, because yeah, this is a shitty business model. But like, literally, I am the most censored guy on YouTube, and Google doesn't. I was making $500 for 100,000 views in 2013. Now it's like $115. So Google is doing what they can to get out the people whose message they don't agree with. I'm hanging on as long as I can because I'm stubborn. So I would super appreciate it if you do want to do what you can to help. You make rent this month so I can continue to bring you the information during the final 2 months of super active hurricane season and just wild, weird-ass, wacky weather. And I love you guys, and I appreciate it. But shit, dude, the whole world needs to have more fun. Like, it's everybody arguing all the time. There's just so much hate and anger everywhere. That is so not me. Like, in every single way. Like, I've talked about how, at times the truth community itself is just like a Thunderdome cutthroat. And it's like, man, I don't care about anybody else. Like, I do my thing, and I don't worry about anybody else, and it just seems like I get a lot of hate from all angles. And I'm like, really? A, I tell a lot of jokes when I can. And B, I try and unite people. So why do people hate that so much? Why does that cause me so many problems? I do not know. But I do know you're awesome, and I appreciate you hanging with me for this whole journey. And I do hope we can continue it, because I guess somewhere down I'm sadomasochist and enjoy the pain, the frustration, and the discomfort. Maybe I just like a fight. Who knows? You guys stay cool, and we will continue to watch the situation. But please leave any note on what you might, space stories you might want me to cover as I rapid fire them out. And, you know, I've actually made a few videos talking about the flat earth, but the thing is that the flat earth situation, the people are so militant and they're so angry, and then they're just so quick to be hateful. I just don't even want to touch it, man. Like, literally, you know, it's so if I thought I could have any fun or make any difference, because like I said, I can't verify either way, and it doesn't seem to make a difference when humanity's getting its ass kicked every day, round or flat. That's not going to stop us from getting destroyed by corporations right now. Anyway, stay cool. God bless everyone. Talk to y'all soon.